you're going to get into a thing where you rarely see anybody with a physical textbook, right?
I feel like probably the education market's being hit a lot right now because there's so much information on the internet. Why do we need to go to books? Like back in the day, like way back in the day, books, like there was no internet. You had to read a book to know the information.
Hmm.
It decentralized information from those the few kings or whoever that could read and actually gave books to the common man way back in the day.
But I think with access to technology, you start to weed out some of the kind of privileged information or ones that were like more cost effective because now you can go online and find similar information or learn in a similar way, right? As a CEO of a company, right? Especially whenever McGraw-Hill was established, I don't know the exact date for that. But when you look at it from where we used to be as a society to getting, our information from a newspaper or whatever, right? You didn't just have it to you, right? You couldn't just go online, get that information straight to you. Now, all you have to do is open up your phone. Most people have access to a cellular device more now than ever. We went from phones and smartphones being very expensive to you can get a really cheap smartphone and do the exact same thing. The gap on privileged items is closing every single time. There's a huge market disruptor every single time. So whenever you're a company and you think you have this fail safe, print and press, things like that, things that you are the disruptor, right? Now you get down the line years later, you rarely see anybody with a newspaper. Now you're going to get into a thing where you rarely see anybody with a physical textbook, right? And you're going to get to a point where people probably won't even use a textbook. If that information is just freely online, right? Or a trained AI model can tell me the same information in a better way. You might even push into the education space of there are, and I would say like we can look at it, but from a teaching aspect too, you have the ability to say, hey, maybe we don't need one or two teachers in this, category of education because we can probably push that on to some self-learning with AI. These are things that you look at as far as disruptors as learning things, and maybe that could be something that McGraw-Hill needs to raise money for because they want to disrupt that way. So our homework for our viewers is, pay attention to it.